Some 2.8 seconds. We'll take a close look. When we get up to 77% thrust, there'll be another 0.2 of a second to release those explosive bolts. T-minus 15 seconds and counting. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. We have ignition. Liftoff.
Is complete, and we can start to line a platform.
Roger, Fairings Jettison, over.
Coming up to the busiest time of this flight for them, right after insertion into orbit. There it is. Hey, beautiful, beautiful. Best one yet.
Towards the Guam, and right now, a fantastic sight is unfolding right off the port bow of the prime recovery ship. This has got to be the closest one we've seen yet.
Remarkable feat. Absolutely extraordinary. Courage. You wouldn't believe it.
The kid's not so good.
I think I want to go to the moon. Putting some guy in a capsule, that would take a lot of stuff to put him that far.
You know what's really exciting is when they
I wish I was one of those guys. I'd like to see him. Yeah. Oh, I think it's great.
That might be fun.
That's what we mean by telepathy. Through television, people are experiencing a new sense of involvement with each other and with the world. By making us aware of the interests and emotions that we have in common, television is bringing people back to people. So, we call it telepathy. It seems so few years since the beginning of television, and yet there are already 2 generations who cannot remember a world without television. TV has become a vital part of our way of life, and its importance continues to grow. Why is it that TV today is the public's chief source of news, replacing older forms of reporting? What's the reason for television's universal appeal? Perhaps it's because viewing an event on TV is like personally participating in the happening. That may also be the reason why television news is the most believable news, because you saw it yourself. And because you saw the news, you are probably less interested in another's views of it.
The following day, NASA receives his next official visitor.
Space Center assures that you will see
The role of the commentator who told you his feelings about something is being replaced by the narrator, who need only act as an on-the-spot guide. The direct communication of television enables the public to form its own opinions for itself. Political leaders and businessmen have both learned the value of dealing directly with the public to enlist understanding and support, while the public, by dealing directly with the source through television, has become better informed. Thus, the public knows that when television covers an event, it's news, and if it's news, television will cover it. But television, by its very coverage, influences what it shows.
Straight into Q. Go call it. Start Huntley. David Brinkley.
By showing violence, television has shown the need for community action. By showing a problem, television has shown the need for individual action. By showing danger, television has shown the need for caution. In time of sorrow, television brought strength. The things we see on television become things we have experienced, not just facts we have learned, but occurrences in which we have participated. And so, television has proved to be more than a mere window on the world. Television communicates more than the sight or sound or action of a situation. TV also communicates the emotion, the feeling, the excitement of the actual experience. The average family spends about 5.5 hours a day watching television. The 45-hour television viewing week is longer than most people's work week, takes more time than any other activity except sleep. And late-night television is doing its best to reduce even sleep time. And so, for more than a decade, television has been a nearly universal habit of our daily lives. Television has created and expanded many other industries. The set manufacturer and the repairman, the public utility and the electronics manufacturer, the television station and the network.
NBC.
CBS.
The creators of television commercials and the producers of commercials. To all these, television has meant profitable business to businessmen of all sizes, their stockholders and employees. TV is supported by the dollars advertisers pay to reach their television audiences. And because even a few seconds cost money, advertisers and their agencies have had to discover ways to communicate more in less time and more deeply. From today's commercials has come a new language that every viewer understands, without knowing he's learned it. Remember how motion pictures once started? Slowly. The long movie preamble is avoided on TV. Television viewers are too alert to need it, and television time is too valuable to allow it. We now start with the action allowing the audience to identify the characters, the place, and the time. The viewer, therefore, becomes an active participant in the situation as the story itself unfolds.
Once upon a time, a handsome prince poured a goblet of wine for a beautiful princess.
The old once-upon-a-time way of telling things has been accelerated to today's pace of the all-at-the-same-time way. We are able to tell an entire story, establish a mood, a place, a person, and a plot, and increase business, all at the same time. Sometimes in as little as 10 seconds.
Judith Lowry is saving at First Pennsylvania for karate lessons. Karate lessons?
Sometimes 10 seconds isn't enough.
Call up with the tall corn taste of. I'll never make it in 10 seconds. Call up with the tall corn taste of Kellogg's Corn Flakes. I said it wrong.
TV's multiple image has replaced the motion picture flashback, and we are in two periods in time at the same time, and everyone knows what's happening. Just as the early manuscript artists illuminated their letters to give the words more meaning, today's television communicators have learned to add music and color and feeling to provide more meaning to their words. We've learned a visual shorthand, sometimes to communicate just the feeling of something, using pictures in a way no one would have understood yesterday. Abstract design now has meaning to many uneducated in abstract art. Parts of pictures communicate more than a complete picture could.
Nearly half the drivers in fatal accidents are in the right. This one was right. Dead right.
Look at the many ways in which the passage of time can be illustrated. Slow motion has become television for softness. The close-up is television for appetite appeal. Color is appetite appeal. Quick cuts are television for youth. The zoom is television for attention. Where once we showed something happening to someone, now it happens to you.
Headache with pounding pain.
Sometimes the involvement is more subtle.
Hallmark unlocks a wondrous land of make-believe.
Television has taught us to communicate better to the feelings of people as well as their intellects.
And once upon a time, dreams come true.
The addition of color to television adds more than just reality. It can also add feeling with emotional color. From the loneliness of blue to the warmth of yellow, the freshness of green, the smartness of white. The bravest explorer of the old Wild West would be both frightened and lost on today's freeways. The pace is too fast for him to understand. The early communicators would be equally frightened by the pace of today's communication and by the depth of this communication.
Fear and hate passed from one generation to the next.
Television has become the shortest distance between the minds and hearts of men. No chart of the number of starving children can have the effect of a single picture of just one hungry child. No frontline battle correspondent can bring war closer than television's eye. Television's smallest set can bring the world's largest problems into every living room. Perhaps television's most lasting effect has been to end our isolation from the troubles of others. You cannot view television without exposure to the strange, the different, the new, to the things you normally wouldn't read about or be exposed to. Television has become a sampler of the world through which we are introduced to our first classical music. Our first fine art. The opinions of the other political party. The thoughts of another generation.
We don't want the law to be with us. Is all we want is to be left alone. We want to go down the highway and be left alone. We want to go on a Sunday ride, be left alone, have our own picnic. Don't bother nobody but ourselves and be left alone. That's what the whole thing is about.
The beauty of another religion. Television viewing has ended our isolation from involvement, whether with people or ideas. In the prehistoric world, primitive man's only concern was with his own survival. As populations increased, towns were formed and man's concern expanded to include his immediate neighbors. But as towns grew to become cities and nations, our neighbors became strangers, and our news of them came secondhand, as reported by others. Now, television's coverage has brought people back to people, and has involved each of us once more with our neighbors. This involvement of man with men is perhaps television's greatest contribution. And today, all the world lives just next door. Television, for its second generation of viewers, has made the world smaller, as it helps the people in it grow larger.
You can be sure if it's Westinghouse.
If it's anything to do with fabric, we do it at Burlington.
From Max Factor.
Delco.
From the Crown Zeller Pack people.
When you care enough to send the very best.
Advertisers, through their commercials, have supported television and created its language of faster, deeper communication. To the businessman who does not use television, it represents a real and growing danger, for TV provides his competitors a way to pass him by. Business success may depend upon which advertiser is first to adopt television as his major advertising medium. A growing sea of new products is being introduced. Each new product must be made to stand out quickly, efficiently, and economically. The wide range of unique devices that television provides lets the individual product quickly establish its own identity. Most stores sell items other stores sell, and at about the same price. So the store must find a way to show its public that it, as a store, is different, and the place in which to shop. The emotional language of television can create the feeling of friendliness and quality and atmosphere, and reputation of a store in a way that no other medium can approach.
What's it like to shop at North Park? Shopping at North Park is like anything else. That isn't like anything else in the world. safety and service and big dividends are what you get at Lincoln Savings.
Companies have learned that they cannot grow if their business comes only from the interested and knowledgeable few who seek them out. They must find ways to reach the larger public that remains disinterested non-customers. The pervasive, intrusive ability of television to reach people who don't care has enabled the banks to communicate with women.
Lincoln First Federal Savings and Loan Association.
Your way.
The soft drinks to talk to teenagers.
Anytime, anywhere, any day.
Corporations to meet their publics. Product differences may be big in physical dimensions, but they are still larger in psychological dimensions.
New Comet Cyclone GT.
The emotional language that television speaks creates a feeling about each product, a different feeling about each.
Once in your life, live this kind of excitement. Mercury Comet.
I searched for love until I thought I'd never find it. Deep in my heart.
TV's emotional language reaches out to involve the feelings of the viewer.
And then something wonderful happens, and then something wonderful happens, and that something wonderful that happens comes true.
Information. Information on 50,000 new drugs and chemicals developed in America every year. To be tested against an old enemy, cancer.
The feeling about a company can be as important to its success as its products or its physical assets. By supporting activities that benefit the general public, corporate responsibility reaches outward to improve the community in which the company lives and does business. Television sponsorship can transmit this feeling of concern for the public good, and the corporate climate is then felt beyond the corporate walls.
Kids grow up and they leave so soon, but we like to think they'll always recall the little things, the loving things, the very special giving things we do for them when they are small. There are very...
An established company uses emotional appeal to associate its products with appetite appeal, and thereby increases consumption.
The very special soups prepared by Campbell.
Regular, frozen, and red kettle. Serve your family soup often.
Hello, I'm Fred Masick of Bankers Trust. With a rate for an auto...
A large company wishes to be seen smaller, people-sized, and lets its own people speak for it on television.
Up to 36 months to repay.
Hello, I'm Margie Rawson. Now more than ever, it pays to save at Bankers Trust because your savings earn 4% per year at our bank. Remember, you'll find a welcome at Bankers Trust.
The new takes many shapes, and television proves the advantage of each. To the advertiser, his commercial can be his program, with his own star personality strongly identified with his product. Once management has decided what to say, the television way and the unique television vocabulary are all ready to say it. And TV has provided the audience to say it too. The depth of impression created within this audience is the true measure of TV's effectiveness. Business must recruit manpower, and the climate of opportunity and challenge can be as important as salary and incentives. Television sponsorship can illustrate corporate belief and attract people who are sympathetic to the company's objectives and philosophy. Today, the all-encompassing effect of television communication has ended the isolation of every viewer. Television, for its second generation of viewers and of advertisers, has made the world smaller, the opportunities greater, and the involvement far deeper than man has ever known before.